What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We've got a live CHGO Bulls pregame coming up for y'all right around the corner. Bulls West Coast swing continues tonight in Sacramento. Second night of a back-to-back. Taking on some familiar faces. Zach Lavine reunited with DeMar DeRozan. We'll talk about what Zach had to say about his former team earlier today in that interview with Sam Smith. Plus, how he and DeMar have looked as teammates once again in Sacramento. Plus, a look at Patrick Williams and our pregame picks. All of that coming up next. I'm going to remember every single thing.
Everything!
What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls pregame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Pack Bulls _Pack. That's Big Day. Bam! Bam! BWL Sports. Will the Go Gottlieb, perfectly coiffed, rocking the Sam Adams hoodie. Will _Gottlieb. And our queen of the controls, one and only Katie Duffy. What up, Katie?
Hi.
Katie, are you ready for another 9 p.m. tip?
I have never been less ready in my life. Please continue.
Oh, less ready. Oh, man.
Wow.
You got to meet the moment.
Seriously.
Let's go.
I was so ready for her to say, I've never been more ready.
Yeah.
I know you were.
Less
That's why
ready.
I said it.
Just being honest.
Look,
She
I got to
respect
keep you
the
on your
honesty.
toes, all right?
On my toes always.
That's where he likes to be. On his toes.
I actually prefer to be in a recliner
Well, fair point.
with my toes up.
That's true. That makes sense.
Not
10
my
toes up.
Not my toes down.
He's not 10 toes down.
No.
He's 10 toes up, ladies and gents.
Shout out to everybody hanging out with us in the chat. Hit that like button if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. Shout out to Tom who said, Purdue said F no to back-to-back late night tips. That's right.
No, Purdue's body said F. Late night tips. If he could be here, trust me, he would be here. He enjoys this. Shout out to him.
Jeff Crook saying this game's going to feel weird. So we did see Sacramento earlier this season, back when DeMar had already moved in that direction. But this will be the first time and then the last time this season since Zach Lavine has joined DeMar in Sacramento since that trade that happened just 6 days before the midseason trade deadline.
Yes.
I just over the last few hours, I've seen a lot of fun stuff. Cowley just tweeted a couple videos of Zach and DeMar talking pregame about their shared time in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar saying silly things about, keeping an eye on his kids still, making sure they're still making their beds every day in reference to Dalen Terry and some of his other younger former teammates. But there was an interview that Sam Smith, Bulls beat legend, did with Zach Lavine that the Bulls shared earlier today that was really insightful, and I thought like a good reminder as Bulls fans are all trying to move forward ourselves that as, tumultuous as it may have been the Zach Lavine era in Chicago and not as much winning as Bulls fans would have hoped, obviously not as much winning as Zach Lavine would have hoped for, that no ill will, it seems, from that man who was a two-time All-Star for this franchise and is probably happy to have a fresh start on the West Coast, closer to home. This Kings team, they're in a fight for their lives to get to the playoffs in the very competitive West. But to hear him say such loving things about his tenure as a Bull and the city of Chicago, it was nice as a Bulls fan to just hear those things.
Heart goes a pitter-patter.
Yeah.
The flutter of butterflies swirling about. All the love. Again, we said when the season started from media day, Zach Lavine was saying all the right things. And it just continues. It just continues to say the right things. I mean, I don't know what else he would say. He was honest about it. But yeah, the love we have for Zach Lavine is, it's evident. And the love he has for us, he has shown is evident as well. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want him to be traded within the division. I wanted to miss him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted him away. I didn't want to – when you break up with somebody you truly, truly care about, you do not want to see them 3 times. You know what I'm saying? During the year.
No.
I don't care if it's basketball or life. You don't want to see them 3 times during the year, all right? They'll catch you when I'm out west and something, hey, looking you up. Hey, you all right? Everything's cool? Come hang out. Cool. We see you one time, great. See you the next time, like months later, great. Have at it. Peace on out. We love you. But no, we really love and appreciate Zach Lavine. That dude carried us through some truly, truly, truly dark times. We were very happy when he finally got a teammate like DeMar DeRozan and some other players around him so he could actually win some games. So he got to experience that. 2 All-Star appearances while he was here. Like, he really was here at the lowest of lows and at the middest of highs. That's what it is. It ain't the highest of highs.
David, it seems to always be the middest of highs.
You feel me?
I mean, the thing about the Zach situation, and I don't know, I wasn't here when the trade happened, so I don't know if I got to rip this take off, but it just, it's so nice that he was able to end on good terms. Like, it almost didn't work out that way, where the Bulls tried to trade him the last couple of years. Things got really, I don't want to say like there was any maliciousness between the two parties, but I mean, Zach asked if he could work with the team to find a trade for him. The team was actively looking on trades. Obviously the whole thing with the PR situation and missing games and having a really rough season, electing to have the surgery. Like, it was not good for Zach. And especially like leading into this past offseason, he was the worst contract in the league. Everybody was saying, he's washed. He's not, he's this and that. It was really nice to see Zach have another really good stretch of basketball, playing at the level that we all knew that he could get back to, and proving that it was just the injury that was holding him back and not his lack of ability. And it's really nice to see him in a better situation. It's nice that he got to end on his own terms and on better terms. And it's really cool that he's with DeMar again. Like, I know that situation did not work out for the Bulls, and it may not work out for the Kings either. But like, there was one thing about those two guys. It was that they were really great to cover. They're genuinely good people. They always made time for the media. They were great teammates. The guys in the locker room really looked up to them. They're great mentors, as we talked about with DeMar. Like, and they're good friends. I think that was another thing that people kind of got wrong, was that like there was some tension between them, or that they, were in some sort of conflict. They're two really good guys, and it's just cool to see them on the same court together.
And one more thing about Zach, because you just reminded me of something. I don't know of another star, and if I'm forgetting one, please tell me. Here with the Bulls, that was trying actively to be painted with a negative brush more than a guy like Zach Lavine. He was, painted as a guy who wasn't a good teammate at first. He doesn't get along with guys. You know what I mean? He was a guy who, he's always injured. Oh man,
doesn't make his teammates better.
Exactly.
Empty
what I mean?
Score.
All that score. He's not an all-star. Right. Not a winner. Not all. He was painted like that for things on and off the floor. And I don't know why, but that's just was the case with Zach Lavine. And he continued to show that none of that was the case, man. Like, how many, dinners do I got to go out with, with these young guys to let you know that we are all cool? How many text chains do I got to? How many times I got to limp into this locker room and play for you all to know this? You know what I mean? Yes, I'm frustrated that, we're losing because, who wants to lose? But, yeah, he was nothing but a great teammate. As far as I saw from the outside looking in, I haven't heard anything to the contrary from anybody in Chicago media about Zach Lavine, man. And, yeah, it was just painted like that for him. But now he gets a whole blank new canvas over in Sacramento.
So, in case you didn't catch the interview he did with Sam Smith, just some really great quotes in there from Zach. He said, I loved Chicago. As much as there was drama, I understand how big of a market it is. The status you have as a player with a contract like I had and being the quote-unquote face or pillar of the franchise, a lot comes with that. But I tried to take that on my shoulders regardless, good or bad. Chicago is always going to be a special place in my heart. I hope the fan base organization know how much I deeply care for them, end quote. And especially the thing he said about like being the face of the franchise, the pillar of the franchise, and what good or bad, taking seriously that being on his shoulders, because that was on his shoulders for a lot of Bulls teams that did not achieve in the way that Bulls fans expect their team to achieve. I thought it was very earnest in his self-reflection in talking about that. And despite the fact that it was not all good by any stretch, but plenty of bad, that he still looks back on it fondly. Yeah,
as he should. I mean,
he talked about becoming a man here, raising his family, starting a family here, all of that.
Yeah, and I mean, his big achievements here as well. Like, he also was a gold medalist here. We was here with the Bulls. Signed some big expensive contract.
Two-time All-Star.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Two-time All-Star for Zach. Like he did a lot of just truly great things. The Bulls history books will also be kind to him as well. Like he was just a great person, man. Like and you want to see great things happening to and for great people. And Zach Lavine is definitely one of those. And DeMar DeRozan is another one of those people.
Yeah, and two things can be true, right? Like it was the right decision to move on from those guys. It maybe didn't happen on the right timeline, but like it's for the best that they are in a different situation now. And that's true for both the players and for the Bulls. Like it was time for them to move on. Just because it didn't work out here doesn't mean it can't work out in other places. Like they've got a really interesting, they are kind of developing a similar team to what the Bulls had. They're doing continuity kings, but with Sabonis, who I believe is not playing tonight, they've got some interesting pieces, and I hope it works out for them.
Hey, shout out Kevin Thomas, man. Shout out to you, sir. Thanks for being here, bro.
Bulls Nation was not a fan of your 1-year
I
proven
love
deal
it, dog.
idea for Giddey.
I swear it excites me so much.
Anthony saying Zach got painted badly because of that, $250 million contract. Have to admit it's funny. He's back with DeMar the Kings after it didn't work out here. Then Kings saying, well, but it might work for us. And I'm honestly hoping that we get like your turn, my turn, Zach and DeMar tonight, especially without Sabonis, who's nursing that injury, to be the fulcrum of their offense. I would not mind watching Zach and DeMar just take turns cooking, because when that worked as Bulls fans, it was really fun to watch. Just two of the most elite scorers in the NBA still.
They're probably like, yeah, we're going to combine for 100 points.
And make sure you stay through the end of pregame to get my pregame picks for tonight, because it does involve Zach and DeMar doing some scoring.
That's a tease.
And speaking of, Dave, you took a look at some numbers as far as what Zach and DeMar have done since becoming teammates once again. And I was looking at this, and I was like, oh my God, it's already been 18 games since Zach got to Sacramento?
Yeah, man.
That seems like a pretty substantial sample size already. I could have sworn that trade happened like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, 18. And so the Kings are 9-9 in that 18-game span since Zach has rejoined with DeMar. What sticks out to you, though, as far as like what we saw with Zach and DeMar Bulls and what we have seen so far, Zach and DeMar Kongs?
Well, if you looked at the numbers, there isn't just really a huge difference. Zach was averaging with the Bulls. This is if DeMar and Zach playing together. Zach was averaging 23, 4, and 4, and DeMar was averaging 24, 4, and 4. And here with the Kongs, Zach is averaging 22, 3, and 3, and DeMar is averaging 23, 4, and what is that? 4 and 5. Yes.
So pretty similar.
Pretty similar numbers, but I think the difference here is DeMar's kind of ticked up a little bit because now Fox isn't there anymore. And they needed a number one guy while Fox was out of there. And DeMar is going to step into that role for sure. So I think Zach already kind of knows, how to fit in with DeMar, but he doesn't really know how to fit in yet with the team. So once he figures that part out, I think his numbers will go up a little bit more. I think he'll add at least 2 or 3 more points to his total right there. He's already had a 40-point game against him because, again, he was playing Charlotte. That never gets old. Zach Lavine killing Charlotte is what he does. So he'll get more comfortable, but those guys have a chemistry that we didn't think would be a chemistry. Let me just speak for myself. I didn't think it would just truly be something that truly worked. When they first got here, I was excited about it because we're getting a DeMar DeRozan, it's a star player and all that. But I just like, well, how would their games work? And I remember, Matt, us going to that Knicks game, and when DeMar DeRozan took the last shot and he airballed it, and then just – people wanted to create a narrative then, like, well, maybe Zach should be taking these last shots. And why is DeMar taking the last shots? But they kind of found each other's way. And he let DeMar, take the inside, and Zach more so took the outside. Now, we know Zach is going to do more if DeMar isn't there. So I wonder if DeMar has learned that style with him. Like, I got to let Zach cook, man. Like, I am a little bit older now. You know what I'm saying? And Zach is still in that prime level for him, but I wonder if I need to let him cook a little bit more. So with Sabonis out too, I think that's also going to play that role. And like you said, stay tuned for Matt's picks on that. But it hasn't really been a true difference outside of DeMar maybe finding and facilitating a little bit more, kind of like he did when he was with the Spurs.
Yeah. You think back to the previous Bulls-Kings matchup. talking about Zach and DeMar and their potential to both go off tonight. Not only did Sabonis, who is out tonight with that injury, have a big game. He had 22, 15, and 8. De'Aaron Fox, now departed in San Antonio, had 26 to lead them that night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, this game is ripe for Zach and DeMar to go off because they need to go off.
And they know these guys that they're playing against.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they know their tendencies. You know what I mean? They know how to attack them outside of guys like Giddey and things like that. But they know this team and what they could kind of do. So, man, they're going for it. That's all I know.
At the same time, I think somebody pointed out in the comments earlier, could also be revenge game night for Kevin Huerter.
Correct.
Who is back in that Bulls starting lineup because Josh Giddey is out. There was some talk yesterday. Giddey said, hey, yeah, I'm playing tonight. I feel great. Might even play tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
They walked that back. I don't know if it was Josh's decision or the team's. Josh will not play tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That was originally the plan for him to play one of these two games in his comeback whilst the Bulls were in the middle of their road trip. Sounds like, by all accounts, like he will be ready to play again in the Bulls game against the Lakers on Saturday, getting a couple of nights off between tonight and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But so with Giddey taking a seat back on the bench, you got Trey Jones and Kobe in that backcourt, Huerter, Modest, and Vooch as your Bulls starting five. And, while it might not be as big of a marquee name as Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan, Huerter clearly, like when he arrived in that trade, Bulls fans who took a look at what happened in Sacramento, he was a big piece of that team that finally broke that, that long Sacramento playoff drought, had some solid years prior to that, and then had really just like fallen off a cliff with his, the biggest threat of his game is 3-point shooting. Bulls fans are wondering, what kind of player are we really getting here? Got to assume that Huerter's got something to prove tonight as well, Goat.
Absolutely. And I think he's been playing a lot more like how he played with the Kings. He's been playing a lot more up to his capabilities and shooting the ball a lot better, too. With the Bulls, he is at 35% on 7.5 threes per game. So he's getting, as Dave, you said yesterday, he's got the greenest light on the team, which is kind of a crazy concept. But even though it's not like a 40% situation the way he had in Sacramento in 22-23, he's still scoring 12 a game. He's also been, I think, really good at just moving without the ball and forcing, like we've talked a lot about like the Bulls offense in transition and like generating points before defenses can get set. Like Kevin Huerter's ability to be a movement shooter can put pressure on teams even when he doesn't have the ball in the half court. So when he's coming off of screens, he's forcing defenses to be aware of him at all times. And that's really useful, especially when you have guys that aren't as good breaking guys down off the dribble. To have that kind of action to spur movement and to spur like opportunity is really useful. And so he's been really good. He's been rebounding the ball really well. He had 9 the other night. I don't remember what his stat line was last night, but I think all three of those guys, as we've been saying, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and Zach Collins are playing some of their best basketball as soon as they get traded to the Bulls.
It fits. I don't know. It fits what's going on here.
9 to 10 good players.
Yeah.
So as far as who's in, who's out tonight, obviously Giddey's out for the Bulls. Lonzo Ball remains out. Obviously, Io. Patrick Williams, I believe, is available, dealing with that quad. Popped up on the injury report again. It's probable. I believe he is available to play tonight. As far as the Kings, we mentioned Sabonis being out. Jake LaRavia was the only other non-G League two-way person on their injury report, fighting some sort of illness. He has also been given the green light and is available to go for the Kongs this evening.
He's a good player.
But
I like LaRavia.
Speaking of good old Patrick Williams fighting that quad, we talked about him a little bit in last night's postgame. Kind of an underwhelming night. What was it, like 5-2?
Yeah.
I think it was his second straight game with 5 points. Back in his bench role since he came back from the quad injury. I don't know. I feel like it was a disheartening Patrick Williams conversation that the three of us and Uncle Will had last night, Dave.
Yeah, it felt like one of those come to Jesus moments that that we all just kind of had, and everybody just tell your feelings, guys, and things like that. But I thought, listening to Will Perdue talk about it, like when Will Perdue is down on you, you're really doing something wrong, because even Will admitted, like, he thought that once DeMar left, that things would change, for a guy like Patrick Williams. And it just has not happened. And not only has it not changed, it has regressed and gotten worse. And so I was curious, based off of that conversation that we had, I wanted to check out Patrick Williams and, go a little inside the numbers, the advanced numbers, and just look at the effect on the floor he'll have offensively and defensively. And he's played, this will be his 51st game tonight that he has played. And so to be fair, I went and got those numbers from the two previous seasons where he has played 50 or more games. So his rookie season and year 3.
Right.
Those are the only ones. So this will be his 3rd time playing over 50 games. So I just wanted to take a look at that. Now, you can look at the true shooting numbers. A little tough. Now, the true shooting was good his rookie year. And when it was in that year 3, which was the year he played those 82 games, you see what it was. But currently, 40, he's not even at 50% as far as his true shooting is concerned.
That's bad.
And it gets a little worse
league average is about 75.5.
Yeah.
Or 57.5, excuse me.
Yeah, and looking at the efficient field goal numbers, you see you had promise in that rookie season. And again, got a little better when he played more games. And then after this year, it's like, I don't know. Now, the defensive rating also stood out to me as well. Because obviously, when they're in wins, your defensive and your numbers are going to be a little bit better. His was like, his rookie season, when they would win, his defensive rating was like 105. Like, he was awesome. And it was around that same tier in year 3. But it's not like that this year for the Bulls. He's just, happens to be a guy out here. And I also found it interesting. This is the year his usage percentage is the highest of his NBA career this year at 16.6. In any year that you want to go to, it's the highest it's been this season. So he's affecting things on both sides of the ball and not in a positive way. The true shooting and the efficient field goal percentage obviously stand out the most, because for me, over 50% is a given for players, dog. Like, when I'm checking you out, I'm just immediately assuming that it's going to be over 50%. For it to be below that, it's like, man, like that. Damn, it's not good, bro. Like, it's not good at all, and it pains me. Again, like I said this yesterday, it just pains me to talk about him in this way, but. You can't lie to the people. You see what it is. Now, he's going to get an opportunity tonight again. He's dealing with the quadriceps, but he's going to get another opportunity to play tonight, with Giddey out. We'll see what it looks like. But the rebounding numbers have never been great, but they're the lowest now. The points per game have never been great, but they're the lowest now. And this is all after signing the contract to say, I am going to stay and be a part of the Chicago Bulls organization, and then you're playing the worst basketball of his NBA career. It's sad to see, bro, and it's sad to say. And I want it to be better for him. This ain't fun for me to say this, but it is a no excuses, year for me watching him like this. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing, Will, when I check this stuff out, and you just see it, as far as the numbers are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is just he's not making shots. Like 37% from the field this year. He's a 45% field goal shooter for his career. So I think the ball will go in a little bit more, but it's hard to be encouraged by anything he's doing right now, because there's not even those flashes. I mean, even the flashes that we used to talk about were like very rare. Or he had like the one good game in Minnesota where he scored 35, and that was kind of it. But now it's like those you're not even seeing any of that. Right. So it's discouraging for real. And I think the Bulls have to figure out a way to try to get a little bit more out of him. I'm not sure like who that's on, whether it's him or the team or whatever, but like I've said this before, he's locked in now for 4 more years after this one. It behooves everyone to try to work together to figure out a solution that works best, because if you want to trade him, you got to build up his value first. If you want to keep him, you got to build up his value. And it has not been going well. Even, he's saying he plays better off the bench. That hasn't been working either. So I don't know what the answer is. Like I said before, I think the fast-paced system is probably actually hurting him a little bit, because he likes to evaluate the floor and kind of manipulate the chess pieces. Yeah. And so that's another area where he's going to have to develop. But like, you can't even really rely on the catch and shoot stuff right now. He's only 34.5% on threes. So I do think that will improve, just because, his career numbers are so much better than that. But I mean, when you watch him and you look at the way he's getting into everything, it's not very encouraging either.
And also, like you mentioned, just the pace that he plays with, one of the lowest on the team, obviously. But what stood out to me was the fact that he was right there kind of with a guy like Lonzo. And like you said, you mentioned a guy who has to survey, see the chessboard, see what the pieces are doing before he moves. Lonzo, it works perfectly for. You know what I mean? That's exactly his game. He's going to do that and then make the right decision. Pat is doing it and then says, king me, crown me. I just jumped you. Like, bro, we're not playing checkers. This is the chessboard. And it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I wish it could. I wish it would. Shout out to Joe Cowley, who was talking about this earlier as well about Patrick Williams, who, just looks like he has fallen truly out of love with the game is what Joe Cowley has stated. And he suggested a different place for him to play. Yeah. But we'll see how that goes.
I saw that Cowley suggested it's got to the point where Pat needs a fresh start. Mm-hmm. And I've heard some Bulls fans say, the Bulls are going to trade Pat and he'll turn into an all-star. I no longer fear that. I haven't feared that in a while. But even if that's what Pat thinks, that's what Pat and the Bulls think, even just less than a year after signing him to a 5-year deal. I would be curious to know who they would field offers from this offseason on that deal.
The one thing I can think of off the top of my head is like Yusuf Nurkic for Pat. They're roughly the same amount of money. Obviously, the Hornets are a rebuilding team. Like they're the kind of team. One, he's from Charlotte. Mm-hmm. Like there was the rumor there that they were gonna give him an offer sheet anyway. It would be an expiring contract for the Bulls next year, so that could be good. But that's the kind of team I think if anybody's going to trade for Pat right now, it's going to be a team that has a young core that's trying to build for the future and taking a chance on a distressed asset, which is what I think Pat is right now.
Anthony in the comments, you fellas think AK looked at all these stats when deciding to give $90 million contract? Interesting. Devin saying Pat Will is an ideal representation for anxiety-riddled overthinkers whose worst enemy is decision-making. Jeff saying Pat's going to foul DeMar at least 2 times guaranteed. I think maybe it was a tweet from KC. Somebody mentioned that DeMar joked that he jumped back into the Bulls team text thread last night and said, "Y'all enjoy your nightmares of me foul baiting the crap out of you tomorrow and me going to the free throw line." So before we head out of here for the night, it is time for our pregame picks. Yeah. Hit the like button before I give you some good bet ideas. Pregame picks. Brought to you by Bet365. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. That's right. I'm on a heater. You still got time to get it in those bets because Bet365 has that wonderful feature of a quote-unquote 9 p.m. tip-off. You can get bets in until 9:10, giving you that little extra window between tip-off time and actual tip-off time. So I thought I would do my first same-game parlay. Hi, Katie. For tonight's action because we got some beloved former Bulls on the other side. So I figured I would throw them in. I couldn't believe the same-game odds on this. DeMar, Zach, and Kobe to all score 25-plus tonight get you at a plus 850 same-game parlay. Okay. And obviously we know Kobe White, after last night, on a 10-game streak of scoring 20-plus. Giddey is out tonight. Giddey's been, not just producing in his boards and assist ways, but he's been producing points-wise recently. So there's one scorer gone. Kobe, green light tonight to lead this Bulls offense. And simultaneously, you're talking about a Kings team that is without Domantas Sabonis. Obviously, Sans Fox since the trade. DeMar and Zach. They could collectively take 40 shots tonight. Easy. So I figured why not a same-game parlay featuring DeMar, Zach, and Kobe?
Sounds smart.
Just for old time's sake. Yeah. Each of them to score 25 or more tonight gets you a same-game parlay odd of plus 850. I love that. Why not? Have some fun. Another one, speaking of Zach doing some work tonight, Zach has had already a handful of nights where he has been on heaters for the Sacramento Kongs. And I saw plus money on Zach to make 4 threes tonight. So I said, why the hell not? I'll ride that. You can get plus 175 for Zach Lavine to hit 4 or more threes tonight. That seems like no-brainer money to me. You got to assume Zach is going to want to cook against his first game against his former team
More
since
so
the
than
trade.
DeMar. Yeah.
And I made this bet before the news that Giddey was, in fact, going to sit tonight. I like it even more now. Trey Jones over 6.5 assists at plus money, plus 110. The dude has been slinging dimes like crazy.
Yeah.
Basically, since he started getting real minutes since arriving in that trade, especially with Giddey out tonight. I anticipate that with him in the starting lineup, with him getting more ball handling duties tonight. That go ahead and cash that one now. I've been loving what Trey Jones has been doing, both as a scorer and as a playmaker for his teammates. So there's all plus money bets for y'all tonight. Trey Jones assists, Zach Lavine made threes, and that parlay for DeMar, Zach, and Kobe to all put up 25 plus. I'm excited to watch this one.
Yeah. Watching Zach and DeMar just makes it more exciting for me, man. Like I said, you want the best for those guys, and you just want to see them have those really good games. And also, just Kevin Huerter was talking crazy, about how bad he wants to beat this team that he used to be on. So curious to see how he comes out and tries to perform.
That's right. So be sure to download that Bet365 app. Use that code CHGO365 when you sign up. Great offer going on. First $5 bet get you $150 in bonus bets. Must be 21 and over. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Whole lot of Zachary Attackery tonight, says Dion Allen. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And a lot of, Unc DeMar baiting his former teammates / children into some fouls tonight. Yeah. Give me at least one DeMar versus Dalen.
Oh, it's happening.
I need it.
Oh, it's happening.
I need it. I know that Dalen got out there for 5 minutes in the first half last night, and was never heard from again. Come on, Billy.
And also, I want to see if Kobe continues his streak. Let's see if he extends that streak, man, going over those 20 points, man, continues to ball out. So
Kings are the 27th ranked defense over their past 9 games. So I think you could feel pretty good about that one.
Sounds safe.
Also, I think somebody brought it up in the comments as we were starting pregame. Benchmarks and milestones. DeMar DeRozan, 17th point tonight for DeMar. We'll get him to 25K on his NBA career.
Beautiful for him.
Joining a very, exclusive club of NBA legends.
Katie?
I forgot what my segue was going to be, but
was it about hitting the like button?
The message is the same, is that these likes are pitiful, and I'm actually genuinely upset now.
Pitiful.
So you're ruining my day. Thank you.
Katie's calling the like amount pitiful.
She said you ruined her day.
Come on, guys.
Stop ruining her day,
Help
guys.
Katie out. Improve her day. All she wants is a like or two. All she wants is a like or two. Come on.
That's it.
This was from KC Johnson earlier today. DeMar needs 17 tonight to become the 27th player in NBA history to score 25,000. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
Fewer than 30 players all time in the history of this league have reached that points threshold.
Yeah.
And we are very likely going to watch DeMar do it tonight.
Let's see.
That's worth staying up late for.
I think so.
Let's do it.
Let's tune in. Goats ready.
Bulls, Kongs.
Oh, he's off the charts.
Post game live for you late night crew, for you insomniacs. We will be here after the Bulls Kings action. Hit the like button on your way out. See Red be good. Enjoy the game.
1 year, Josh Giddey.
We all silly like the mayor.